What's good, my people? We're back again for another one of this, the one and only Mystelics reaction channel, guys. Big up yourself one time and for a round of applause, guys. Round of applause goes out to each and every one of you guys who have tuned into yet another reaction on this here, the Mystelics reaction channel, guys. Of course, this one is pretty much in Dominica, guys. For those of you who don't know, I tend to react to videos in Dominica, the Caribbean, and the rest of the world by extension. This one is that of the BRITNEY Harper Smiles project apparently coming to an end. And we're gonna figure out what exactly took place. Now, guys, the reason why I'm pretty much I'm also one of the individuals who try to help BRITNEY, especially when it comes down to groceries per month and this kind of things there. Of course, bringing in a number of individuals, and of course, this is why this video has been sent to me a number of times, guys. A number of times, even people meeting me on the road. People meeting me on the road saying, "Hey, have you seen the updates of what was said by the BRITNEY Harper Smiles project individuals, Monel and Narin?" By the way, guys, this is Narin, aka Trendsetter, the Calypsonian, and this is Monel, my former classmate. Portsmouth Secondary School, and I think college as well. But yeah, these are these two individuals who came together to try to help this young lady to elevate herself and standing. Now, guys, the reason, let's just get into this thing right here.
Good evening, Dominica. Those living right here together with me, those abroad in the diaspora and all over. Good evening to my friend Monel Alexis. A phenomenal woman, a champion, I must say.
Champion.
I am Narin Murphy. The individual Monel was trying to contact during her Facebook Live last night to basically give my financial report on the BRITNEY Harper Smiles project. I got involved in this project primarily to be sort of an oversight into the project,
Overseer,
to ensure that there is absolute transparency with the inflows, likewise the outflows.
Debit and credit on them.
Monel would have articulated the objectives of the program from the get-go, which was to take care of shelter,
rent,
education, basic needs, baby items, and things of the like.
Now, guys, before I continue this whole situation, the reason why we ended up getting involved in this, because I know they have their own projects and they were organizing fundraisers and so forth and so forth. But the reason why we got involved was specifically for the baby. Specifically, I actually had some, when I heard about the whole situation, we actually went out to do some research on the individuals and found out certain things. But it was specifically for the baby, because the baby doesn't have, I mean, the baby is innocent. The baby is innocent, and therefore, I think all children out there should have some level of help, you know, when it comes down to them being born innocent. And therefore, have a fighting chance for them to grow in a proper environment, proper society, or a proper neighborhood, so to speak. Avoiding certain things that might push them in the wrong direction. So we must specifically focus on the baby, and as a result of the baby being focused on, the mother to be taken care of, because the mother had to therefore provide for the baby. And of course, the individual who is the partner indirectly would benefit as a result. For example, if the individual, if they moved into the very house that was taken care of by these individuals, Narin and Monel, who paid the rent for a number of months or whatever, he would be living with them most likely, and of course would then be able to handle his business as well without having to worry about rent. So that is one of the things that was indirect in the whole thing, but the main focus for us was the baby. Anyway, let's continue.
She would have also, in discussions with Miss Harper, advised her what the project would not be going towards. So this was established from the inception.
The beginning. Okay.
I have felt it necessary to come to give some comments based on the unreasonable and unwarranted attack on my colleague by Miss Harper via several Facebook Lives.
Now, I try my best to look for these Facebook Lives on the individual's profile, but I did not get to see it. I also told the individual to send me their live as well. The individual did not send me the live. We tried to look for it. I told the individuals to look for it for me, send it for me. They download it or something, send it for me. Of course, individuals could not get it. and I couldn't get it. But he mentioned that there was unwarranted attacks. I remember Bertis, aka Callion, had a statement in one of his tracks stating that you do not bite the hand that feeds you, so feed me. You understand? Don't bite the hand that feeds you, therefore the hand that is feeding you should feed you. Definitely, that's what's happening right there. And then we hear in the statements of this individual providing unwarranted attacks on individuals who is pretty much feeding them, quote unquote, in this regard, providing resources for them, getting people to donate and so forth and so forth. So I don't think that was a very wise decision on the individuals to do that.
A lot of it are untruths, innuendos, and fabrication. This project was geared towards benefiting and turning Miss Harper's life around, because we all felt for her when we looked at that video sometime, I believe, in March.
That's 100%. We all felt it. She was crying. She was showing her living conditions. She was showing how she was treated. We got the feeling that she felt like she was trapped. And don't get me wrong, guys. A lot of people tend to feel like they're trapped. But for this one, understanding that she doesn't even have an identification to identify her legally so she can have some sort of platform, then that is already a disadvantage to her. So when we heard her story, we were kind of taken aback and like, yo, something needs to be done. And this individual also came forward to help her in this regard.
So as the oversight manager to the account, I ensured that every penny that came in, it was documented. I created a special spreadsheet, inflows, outflows purpose, and that was kept. So, ladies and gentlemen, when a request is made to Monel, the founder of the project, by Miss Harper, to settle debts of her partner, this would not have been accepted.
Of course not. You know why? Because the reason why people are contributing was not to provide for your partner to get debt forgiveness or to pay off debts or this kind of things. It was specifically for you, more specifically for the baby. More specifically for the baby, and which you of course were tied into that, of course your partner as well, and anything that you guys were tied in, most likely indirectly, will also get benefited from it as well. If people are paying for your groceries or providing rent or this kind of things, then obviously your partner would therefore benefit as a result, and therefore will be able to save more money on his end and therefore handle his own. It's not to say that people had any problems. Another thing that they could have done, well, I don't know exactly how things transpired with them, but another thing that they could have done is you could have requested to them, hey, we have a little situation with the debts or whatever, and we'd like to see if you can get individuals to maybe contribute to help us, because it will mean so much to us. And then she could petition this to individuals who will also say, okay, let us give to this, because individuals in their minds, when they're giving contributions, they thought within themselves, they're trying to help you to elevate yourself. There's also this whole thing with the Jamaican identification that they're trying to find, and of course the sister was contacted in Jamaica, and she stated, based on what I understood, she stated that because of the whole lockdown situation, of the Rona situation, you know, that they couldn't go forward as they would like to do that. So that has still not happened yet. You know, I guess they're still waiting for that to happen. Which is interesting, because the BRITNEY Harper Smiles project seems to be ending. But the whole situation revolving the whole thing, guys, and understanding from both sides, yes, this has nothing, the debts and everything of your partner, when it's you people mainly focus on, should not have even been an issue. But apparently it came out to an issue, and then they say that they were unwarranted attacks against the very person who came to try to help you. It's interesting. And it's not to say they're making this stuff up. They wouldn't come on social media stating that this is what was happening. I mean, you are attacking, and I don't know if it was from anger, because he, I think somewhere inside there he stated that he responded some angry way or something like that, but it was based off. Let's just continue, guys. Let's just continue right there.
And yes, when it was brought to my attention,
oh, this is it right there.
In my anger, I may have said, well, up to me, I would just remove what we injected and give you the rest. But you know, sometimes a knee-jerk reaction, probably you don't think properly before your initial response. But during that conversation with Miss Harper, I did advise her that the requests would have to be discussed by Monel and myself. And also, we want to remind that the persons who submitted their hard-earned money, some persons, I mean, I know you guys may work 2-3 jobs and you made the extra sacrifice because you wanted to champion the cause. You wanted to join us in helping turn somebody's life around. So it was unfair to misappropriate your good gesture and have funds disbursed
for debt
to Miss Harper to clear any debt of any partner.
I mean, that alone, I mean, come on. I mean, yes, I sometimes understand that people are sending money for you and you feel that the money. This is what I'm understanding from the whole situation. Sometimes you feel like people are sending monies to you, right? They are sending for a specific reason. So they may most likely try to be transparent with you and show you the kind of monies that they were getting and everything. And you felt like you could take the money to help your partner. That is not why people were sending the money. This is why I mentioned even in the first place that they could possibly put that out there for you if your partner wanted to clear debts. Hey guys, we're trying to help this guy, help him with his debts and all these things. Would you like to make a contribution to this? I mean, some of these individuals who actually send funds to you who also are also in debt and decided to help you out. I've heard some of the stories of individuals who gave to them and stated, hey, we don't have much, but this is what we can give to try to help out in this kind of things, because people felt the pain. But the debts of your partner has absolutely nothing to do with the project, though. And I understand, yes, that you feel that the money is coming to you and you need to, yes, I understand these things, but the money was not for that in the first place. So if you, and from my understanding, it seems like she must have gotten vexed and decided to call different people names and this kind of things there. In this regard, that is unwarranted. That's what he stated, not me, you know. That's what he stated, unwarranted attacks on them. There's even a part where I see they call people about different names and this kind of things there. I mean, blah, blah. Making difference. Okay, anyways. But yeah, unwarranted attacks on money was simply trying to make the difference in someone's life. Anyways, guys, let us continue. Because there's so much, anyways.
So, in winding up the project, and Monel would have articulated all what was done. Education was secured, a place was identified, a request for funding was delivered to Ms. Harper.
And I think that is where, now on you guys' side, now from my understanding, I thought that all the monies that were being, from my understanding, this is how I tend to do things, because I've also been involved in certain situations where, you know, we get the funds, we don't give it to people. We don't give the monies to people at all. We use the monies for these people so they can elevate instead of them doing these things. And even if you were to try to create an account for her, I honestly believe, because I remember the example of Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, when he grew up, you know, a certain way, and when he got the big check from his first game, he blew the millions of dollars he got. He decided he's gonna buy one of the expensive cars that he always wanted to get. He brought it home. His father saw him had the car. Hey, where's mine? They went and bought another car. Came back. The mother's like, where mine? They went and bought another car. And they blew blew a couple $1 million in less than a day. So in my understanding, even if you were to develop a bank account and this kind of things there for individuals, you will have that money saved up, yes, for that individual. But only give them that money after they understand the real how to utilize money, after they understand how to utilize money, how to budget money, how to, you know, make monies, you know, work for them instead of, you know, working for money instead, if you get my drift. Understand how to utilize money is the best of our abilities while learning skills, getting your education, and all these things which were being paid for completely without you spending any money at all. So that's why I believe that they should have actually held all the money. And if they wanted something like that, go out to wherever they have to buy the stuff, the furnitures. I also heard that people were contributing furnitures and all these kind of things as well to them. Buy the different things for them, but you will actually have the funds yourself, you know, so they wouldn't be able to, you know, do anything else with it. Not saying that they would abuse the money, don't get me wrong, but it's just that from my understanding and from understanding how different people work, especially involving in us getting in these kind of projects and this kind of things there, it is always good that you hold on to the money, because the people sometimes who spend the money do not know how to use the money. Sometimes when you get a set of money, you get the money for free, you don't understand what people really go through to give you that money. You end up going and buy Gucci slippers, and this is not saying that you would buy Gucci slippers, but you end up utilizing us because you never really earned or understood how hard it is to earn this type of money. If you get my drift. So I think that they should have kept all the money without giving it. If you want to put money aside in the bank account for her, yes, do that. You say you put in $2,000-$3,000 aside for her. You put that there in the bank, and then you make her go through the programs, learn how to utilize monies, all those kind of things there. My camera just died there, guys. I had to replace the battery. But she wouldn't go out and just spend money without properly understanding how to utilize money, if you get my drift. Just like according to Shaq. Because they had to sit him down and talk to him about how to utilize his money. Accountants had to come in and teach him how to, you know, so he wouldn't just blow his money because he just get a set of money. You understand me? Anyways, let's continue.
At times the requests were not in keeping with the project, but general miscellaneous personal expenses, we were not going to be so punitive and look so close.
I understand that, but regardless of that, you have individuals who do not know exactly how to use monies. I'm not saying that they don't know how to use monies, but with the understanding that people come from a certain life of not having much, then they get in monies, then most likely they're going to be just, you know, thing. Not saying that she would do that, but there's a possibility, and I've experienced that with different people already. When you just give people money and then you ask them what they do with the money, they say they buy this and that. There's one of the people in one of our team where he was raising funds for the guy. Instead he kept his money to multiply, he went and buy a vehicle. And now his vehicle crashed and he cannot do nothing about it. Anyways.
But when a significant request is made outside of the objectives of the project, it will be faced with strong resistance.
Yep.
More so from yours truly.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I said, it's just rather unfortunate that it has to end in that manner. I was looking forward to seeing Miss Harper life turn around, and
myself as well.
I believe it still can turn around.
Definitely. But it seems like more the blunt will be on her to handle it. Anyways, guys, this is Naren. Let me go to Monel right there. I'll post the link in the description below. You guys can definitely check that out. Check that out. So I think she was waiting for Naren to join in, like he was telling me before.
The Brittney Harper Smiles project. This would be the second live that I am doing. I just ended one recently. But I mentioned earlier that I am removing myself, Naren and we're removing ourselves from the Brittney Harper Smiles project for, of course, certain demand that was made that was not in keeping with objectives and we were not comfortable in executing. So I'm just waiting to see Naren pop up.
Okay. Naren couldn't show up because of some problems in this thing, so let us try to get it right there.
So is she in charge of everything herself? Yes, Beverly, she is currently in charge of everything herself. I do not know who else is doing anything to assist her. But if anybody wants to take over, then they're happy to do so.
So they're removing themselves because they felt, you know, kind of insulted based off what happened. Unwarranted attacks then.
I have no issue with that, of course. And once you can do something to help, then we should, right? I made lightly. Naren and I made lightly. I think we butt heads a few times before we came to the conclusion to pull away from the project. I should have made that request before at the start of the project. I explained that why it cannot happen. She would have brought it up a few times during the project. I again informed that this is not something I'm comfortable with. And then she made a demand, and at that point it was time for me to go.
So people might be asking, what exactly is it? I think some people actually knew out there. So pretty much it was a debt at fast cash. I think the total was $1,600, and they were asking for the funds to pay off this $1,600 debt at fast cash. That is not Brittney's own, that is not the baby's own, that's the partner's own, which is kind of interesting to me. And I was like, yo, you can't do this, man. You can't do this. And I understand that you feel, yes, this money is coming to you, you can do whatever you want and whatnot, but the money is here to help you. There are a lot of people putting on the line things you have to pay for. They're like, okay, let's give it to you for free, all those kind of things there. And then with that, your partner then, who is working as well, I believe he's working. I mean, he might not be making a bulk of money, but he can then save up his monies for him to pay off his own thing. The people's interest is not in paying off anybody's debt. It's not invested in this. It is invested in your well-being, and more specifically the baby's well-being. We understand your situation, and of course your situation is also putting the baby in a situation as well who's innocent. So this is why people were mainly focused on that. But anyways, let's continue.
9 to go. So this is basically where we are now. But she's still getting supplies, and I'm happy that she's still getting the support. People have been reaching out to me even after she made, even after we pull away, people were still reaching out to me to make contact or to get her things, and I facilitated that.
But then the thing is, if people are going to be making donations and everything, how exactly will the money be spent? People are not going to know how the money will be spent. So yes, you want better and you want people to contribute and so forth and so forth. But how will the money be spent though? And I just mentioned a while ago talking about how Shaq blew his money. He didn't, you know, he had to work hard for him to get into the NBA. But it wasn't like, you know, oh, I really work hard, you know, heart, sweat and tears. Well, I don't know. But when it comes down to the situation of individuals not being able, or you don't understand if individuals have the capability to handle monies coming in, the question is going to be asked, why then should we send monies as well? On my part, the funds that we normally going to be contributing will continue for 2 more months. On my part, 2 more months. And the individuals who are also planning to contribute in that, I think they might pull away, because then again it comes down to accountability factor, and we were dependent on these guys specifically for the accountability factor. When it comes down to them not being able to be a part of this, then you understand me. But anyways, let's continue.
So if somebody still wants to know how they can get something to her, I have no difficulty or issue in sharing. I'll be happy to do so. So can we know what exactly she requested? We need to know what our contributions, your initiative was great, hence the reason we supported.
I
thank you for supporting. That is not something that it's one thing to help somebody, to bring them from one point to the next, and it's another to say negative things about that person because something did not go well along the project. So I don't.
So that is the unwarranted attacks they were talking about, which is I think all this is uncalled for. It's uncalled for. Why? Why? Oh, Lord help us.
I think it is the right media or medium to go in detail with her demand request. So I don't think this is the right media.
But it's not to say like it's anything crazy. From speaking with her, she stated that she just asked them and everything. But it seems like it was a continuous thing. It was a constant thing. And I don't know if it's... But then again, you have to debate and say who exactly pushed this. Probably the guy pushed this on her to try to get, you know, some funds for them to clear the debts and everything there. Maybe they were having discussion. I'm just speculating. That could not be the case, but I'm just trying to figure out why would she then try to constantly be pushing on something that they told her in the very beginning that the funds being raised is not to pay off anybody's additional debts or anything like that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why would you try to ruin that though? I mean, and this is a project that should be going on for like 2 years based on what I understood from these guys. It should have been going on for 2 years. These guys don't even know exactly where monies were going to be coming up from. Of course, there are different people who stated that they were going to be joining in. Sometimes when people say they join in, they does never join in. So you yourself have to figure out something else to try to help the person. And they actually took this on themselves to try to help this person. But then they're getting unwarranted attacks and being called certain names and this kind of things there. Just for them telling you something that they told you that they were not going to be doing in the very beginning. And even if they didn't tell you in the very beginning, if they tell you no, we do that's not what the funds are for, to pay off debts and everything, that's not what it is. That's the guy's business. That's his thing. And I'm not trying to put any flack on the individual or anything like that, but the debts are not based off the people giving the contributions. That is not what it's for. Anyways.
And for that reason, I will not share detail.
I just did.
Request. So I'm not getting through, so I'm just going to have difficulty in connecting us both. So of course she got a letter from us, and I like to write, so I wrote a nice little thank you letter to Brittney. I signed it. Naren signed the letter as well.
So I think they pretty much ended that whole Brittney Harper Smile project thing via letter and so forth. Anyways,
a copy of the bank report detailing all the finances.
That is one thing. That is probably one of the things I studied this before. You do not. The accountability factor of the person you're helping is not to them. The accountability factor of the funds that were given is to the people given the funds. Like on my end, this is why she has to present the receipts for us. When we send the stuff and she utilizes the funds, she has to send the receipts for us. If she doesn't send the receipts for us, there's no more for her. There's no more for her. You check me. And therefore, the receipts must come in. So I think based on the accountability factor, they try to put it on the individual. The individuals, that's what I'm saying. I'm speculating right there, guys. Don't get me. They probably saw that the funds will come in and figure, hey, they could use some of the funds to actually pay off the debts when the funds were actually geared to actually helping you in different things. I mean, and indirectly, the partner himself would benefit. That's what I don't understand. Indirectly, he would benefit. The funds is not for the partner in the first place. The funds was more specifically geared for Brittney to learn different skill sets as well to take care of the baby based on the circumstance, and the partner would get things indirectly. And thus being able to save more for him to do more things to handle his business. The debts and all these things have nothing to do with the people. Nothing.
Tracking her money cent by cent, dollar for dollar, and a report that Naren drew up with the different people, their names, the donation, when it came in, and another file, and of course receipts or copies of the check that went to the landlord and went to her. And of course I had to give the whole dreaded explanation as to why we're pulling away from the project. I would tell you she was not happy about the actions that we took at the end, because I did not want to, yes, ending the project meant that we would have to clear the account. Yes. Clearing the account means that Brittney would have to get the money on the account. But I wanted to ensure that we cover rent for a period of 5 months, because I don't want Brittney to be kicked out of the house.
I agree. Especially with a baby though.
I would have mentioned earlier that Women's Bureau are supposed to kick in to support. They're waiting for a copy of the lease from the landlord. So once that comes into play, then rent is going to be covered for an extended period of time again. And also I ensured that I got a place that was very reasonable. Initially the rent was $300, then they bumped it up to $100. But you know,
to $400. And trust me, that is cheap. That is very, very cheap right there. From free, it went to $4. That's a little more expensive, but I wish they kept it to $3 because you're trying to help out somebody. But it is what it is. I think normally the rent, well, I don't know where exactly they rented it, but normally I know it's $500. People tend to rent 5, sometimes 6. People tend to rent, but from my understanding of different rental properties, I know people rent it for $5. Sometimes people can go down to $450, you know. But I guess it's where you are or where you're located.
Still thankful, still appreciated. So it's just $400 rent. I think it is easy for her partner to pay that $400 rent, and even if she gets a job, she should be able to afford it.
And the gist of what they're trying to do is not for her to be working, it's for her to strengthen her skill set, as well as getting an education in this regard to make her have a fighting chance, not specifically for her, but for her baby, for her to be able to take care of the baby. I think that is what the whole thing was. Well, from our part, that's what we thought would have, you know, been the benefit right there.
So it was important to me to get a place that is very affordable. So even a check of the balance of the account, I think she would have wanted all the money. But the money was
guys, you might have a different take to me. Yeah, I think, well, they did it in the way that they thought was best. But based on my understanding how to do things, you do not give people who do not know how to, or you have no idea how they know to handle the monies. You don't do these things. But I guess that's how they figured they'll do it. So that's on them. But from my understanding in how human thinking is, and the elevation of human thinking, especially when you come from a certain level of living, and then you get in this, I think it has a lot to do with that. But anyways, let's continue.
But it was important that we covered rent for a period of time, as we promised and they free to reach out to me. But I will add certain things that was said and done at the end of it all wasn't too pleasant.
So that's most likely the reason behind it. You're trying to bite the hand that feeds you.
So that's
no guys, I'm not, no guys, when it comes to this full thing, I'm not really putting all the blame on Britney. This whole situation pretty much had a lot to do with the debt factor, and the debt factor was from the guy. So I'm thinking most likely the guy probably tried to get her to push on this thing, and it could be that it could just be, I'm just saying guys, I'm just saying that's what I think actually happened when it comes down to them pushing for the debt, because the debt pretty much had nothing to do with Britney, unless it was, you know, he took the fast cash for her and she tried to, you know, push. I don't know the full scope. That's why I wanted the other live from her side, but I think it's taken down or muted or privated or whatever. But guys, the full links of that will be in the description below. You pretty much got the whole gist right there. This video is very, very long and my camera keeps dying on me, man. But you guys understand it. Not trying to put any damper on the individuals, guys. You have to understand, you don't expect people to be perfect in their whole stance in, you know, hey, but sometimes it's a learning curve, you know, sometimes for different individuals. Hopefully she can take that as a learning curve to try to understand, you know, okay, certain monies are utilized for certain things, and, you know, in their own understanding, maybe you understand that, hey, our accountability factor is not to, well, from my point of view, our accountability factor is not to the people who are giving, who we are helping, but most likely to the individuals who give the monies. This is why for us, like I said before, we get receipts. If you don't get receipts of this stuff, that's it. There's no more thing coming to you. And of course, we'll be continuing that for the next 2 months. When it comes on 2 months, I think in the 3rd month there'll be more funds available in this regard, because we're specific on how much we're giving at a particular time towards groceries for the babies and for the mother, and indirectly the partner as well. But guys, what are your thoughts on the whole situation? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below. Not putting pressure or anything like that, guys. Like I said before, when people come from a certain way of life, you know, it's kind of different for them to just adapt and be magical people, you know. But I think being grateful for what individuals have done. And hey, she also stated, I also saw some part of the thing, you guys can check out the video as well. She also stated that, you know, she might just jump back on the project in the future if she's so led to do so. And I do think she needs to jump back on it, because I think a lot of people, the reason why she's in the state that she's in right now as a result of all the blessings that she got was pretty much because of this girl. If it wasn't for this girl, I would most likely not be one of the individuals involved in this thing. But I know she's my classmate. I know she is. I also know Narin as well, this individual who he you know, does certain things. So that's one of the reasons why I like okay. And then I also did my research and say, okay, the different situations were really rough for this girl, and we decided to come on board. But if individuals want to continue to contribute to her, you can definitely do so. Definitely check out the link in the description to get Monel Alex's info. She pretty much stated this thing in the video somewhere. Or Narin as well. You guys can check him out and see what you guys can do in this regard, or contact them. I think they will provide her phone number and everything. Like I said before, we'll still be contributing to her for the next 2 or 3 months in terms of groceries and stuff. I was also thinking of a barrel as well for her. You know, sometimes you don't give them the money, you give them the cash and the kind. You give them not the cash, you give them the kind instead of the cash in this regard. So at least you know they're taken care of when it comes down to the food and so forth and so forth. This is just my thinking on the whole thing. Guys, what are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below, and I'll see you guys in the next reaction video. Give this video a thumbs up for Monel and Narin for doing their best. I hope you guys come back on board. Sometimes, guys, that's human nature, man. Human nature is kind of like this sometimes, you know, especially when understandings, or you're trying to get free from certain things, and you see in some way that somebody can help you, but they don't really understand the full scope. Hey, this is not for this and whatnot. It's human nature. You still have to forgive these individuals sometimes. I mean, you look at Jesus. They kill Jesus, Marquesa. They kill him, and he come back again and say he can forgive that boy. I tell you, boy, there's somebody nigga, we not Jesus, but still at the same time, you can learn something from that right there, guys. Anyways, give this video a thumbs up for Monel and Narin for doing their thing as well. And I hope you guys do come back on to help her. I mean, it's human nature, man. Human nature can be very disappointing sometimes. I grew up in a place where people didn't like me, man. People didn't like me at all. And then right now, some of these individuals who didn't like me are some of my best or closest peeps right now. You check? So sometimes it's just giving somebody a secondary chance, you know, to rectify their behavior or tell them stop their dirty ways. You see me anyways, guys. I'll see you guys in the next reaction video right there and then.